All right, this is the part 2 of the Pepperdine story. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1. And welcome to Food for the Flock in general, where we stand for convictions in the age of compromise. So, after I was in the wilderness, I actually had scheduled a meeting in the Lord's masterful timing and providence with another one of the chapel directors, this guy Cameron. And it happened to land on that day. And I scheduled the meeting because I wanted to get more involved in spiritual life at school because, my heart was burdened and I wanted to see lives transformed by the gospel like mine had been. And so, obviously, I showed up to the meeting at 4 o'clock after spending most of the day in the wilderness. And we started talking. We talked for about an hour, and he was kind of acting very understanding and that he was kind of on my team with this. But then it kind of all really flipped at the end when he had a security guard waiting for me after and that it was all set up to kind of wrap me in. So I kind of felt betrayed. And the security lady, or it was a lady, and I forget her name, but she wasn't fully security, but she was part of the administration. That's right, yeah. Oh, LaShonda is her name. Maybe I shouldn't be dropping names, but whatever. She asked me, Jake, chapel's tonight. There's a worship night at the Well. And we just ask that you do not go tonight. And when she said that, I was I didn't even think about going to the Well, right? And to be fully transparent, I had not gone to the Well in months because I'm so discouraged by the spiritual state of things at Pepperdine. The messages, the shallow worship songs, all of it was very discouraging to me. And so I just stopped going. I didn't feel like it was profitable for my growth. And I just told her, is it alright if I pray about it? And she's like, no, are you going to go or not? And I was I really need to pray about it. Just, can I please pray about it? So I left, went to my car, prayed about it, and an overwhelming conviction came in, and it was very clear, no, you need to go. And, people might have questions. People might have heard the gospel for the first time at chapel, and now they're going to the Well to get their questions answered. And I just was all right, fair enough. And also this night, I forgot to mention, I also had a dinner with one of the elders of my church. And Robert, bless his heart, I love Robert. I just wanted to meet with him, to hang out, talk, get to know him better. But of course, in the Lord's providence, it landed on this night. And so the dinner was at maybe 5 or 6. And I'm driving to the dinner. Conviction in my heart is that I'm going to the Well after dinner. And I get a call from my coach. And he goes, Jake, if you go to the Well tonight, you are off the team. You're done. And I was like, whoa, what? That's crazy. You're putting me in a pickle here, coach. I was like, look, coach, I really need to keep praying about it. I don't know. I just really need to keep praying about it. So whatever, he was adamant. If you go, you're done. You're off the team. And then I get calls from my parents as I'm driving to the dinner with Robert. And they are screaming at me, Jake, you are not going. Do not go. Do not go. And again, I hate hearing this. I hate hearing this. The people I love, my coach, my family, they're all telling me, do not go. Do not go. And the conviction that the Lord had given me at the time is that, no, you're going. And I was so just, the way was clear, and I knew that I had to go, and I was gonna go, but I was, it wasn't, I felt kind of flustered. But at the same time, there was a weird conviction in my heart that it was driving me, nothing was stopping me. It was very kind of paradoxical. And in the Lord's masterful providence, I get to dinner, and he knows when to speak a word to his children in due season. And I tell Robert the situation and what's going on. I was like, man, what do you think I should do, Robert? And he looks at me and he just goes, stand for Christ. Stand for Christ. And that's the thing I needed to hear. I need to hear that so bad. Yeah, I'm standing for Christ. And we had a great dinner, great time together, and so much peace. God gave me so much peace during that time. And I'm driving back to go to the worship night, and there is just so much peace and just an inward force. I never experienced it before, but just a force of pure clarity, conviction, and not a care in the world what the world thinks. And that is an incredible place to be in. Like, it's almost like I got a taste, and this is a crazy comparison, but I think I got a bit of a taste of what those martyrs experienced when they're going to burn the stake, and God just gives them complete boldness, clarity, and conviction. And I'm not saying that my situation was anywhere near theirs. It's far, far less significant, but I still got a taste of the peace and the conviction and the clarity that God gives in those trying moments. And so I get a call again, coach spamming me, parents spamming me, don't go, I'm going. I'm set on going. And the dean of the school calls me. I think it's the dean. And she just wants to meet before the well. And so, of course, I agreed to meet. I'm not a revolutionary. I'm not trying to cause problems. I just want people to be saved. And we meet. My coach meets. We're in the library. The well is outside in the main courtyard, which is like a 30-second walk. And she starts talking to me, and then we talked for like 30 minutes, and it just became clear. And I was like, with all due respect, Sharon, I deeply respect your authority. But God has given me the conviction that I need to go to the well. And so the scriptures are so clear that we are to respect the authorities. But there's also, and I think it's in Acts 5, that says we ought to obey God rather than man. And I really believe that God is calling me to go to the well. And so I gotta go. And so I got up, I walked out, and then there was like 5 security guards just literally waiting for me. And it was clear they were literally gonna physically restrain me if I went. And I even told them, like, guys, I just need to go to the event. You can have security guards stand next to me if you want to. Like, or I'd rather have Sharon or someone stand next to me. That's less of a scene, but I'm not gonna do anything. I just wanna be at the event and answer any questions that people have. You can literally stand next to me. I'm not gonna go up on the mic again, bro. That was a one-time deal. And yeah, she was not having it. They were not having it. And basically, they pulled me aside and said I need to leave campus. I'm done. And so they said that they were concerned about my mental health, right? Of course. And they were so concerned that they let me drive home. And so, once again, a nice contradiction, because they weren't actually concerned about my mental health. And so, yeah, if you're watching this, maybe you're concerned about my mental health because of what I did, but I don't think I've ever been more mentally healthy. Yeah, losing all for Christ and standing for Him is the most mentally healthy thing that we could ever do. He says, if you try to save your life, you're going to lose it, but if you lose your life for my sake, you will find it. And that is the testimony of what happened at Pepperdine for me. But I basically went home and met with my mom and my dad and gave them hugs, and they were obviously very concerned, but that I also had like a big enough track record with them where they knew that I was not going to do anything crazy, so they gave me the benefit of the doubt on that, which is incredibly helpful, and I love my parents so much for that. Obviously there was still problems, and they definitely don't agree with everything I did, and that's all right. But that's what happened, man. And I got kicked out. I went to the disciplinary committee Zoom meeting, and they thought that I was gonna stand back down and apologize for what I did. And I said, no, like, with all due respect, again, I have no regrets. I could have said things so much better. I could have said things so much different. I could have handled myself in different ways better. And that'll always be the case. But the general premise of what I did, preaching the gospel, when you guys preach a false gospel, I stand for what I did, and I'm so grateful that I did it. And so, since I wasn't very remorseful in that front, I got suspended for a semester. And that was gnarly, you know? The 3 days after the whole event, it was so incredible. This is before the disciplinary hearing, but it was the most peace I've had in my entire life. God was so near. It was insane. It was so supernatural. I couldn't even believe what was going on. My parents, my family, my siblings, everyone's like so stressed out and tumultuous. And they almost thought something was wrong with me because I was so peaceful. It was so supernatural. They'll tell you that it was shocking how at peace I was. And yeah, I guess it's just a good reminder. When we stand for God, he stands with us. 2 Samuel 2, or 1 Samuel 2, I believe. It says, them that honor me, I will also honor. And even to think that I honored God in that situation, I did it so pathetically, so poorly, so weakly, and yet my heart was actually to honor him and for his glory. And so he stood with me, and he bore me out and was with me the entire time, which makes me just want to stand for him more, honestly, even though there's so many pitfalls and stumbling blocks in my own heart, you know. Even just the 3 years that I've been a Christian, I wish I've stood for him so many more times. And I hope in the years to come, I'll stand for him a lot more, with a lot more clarity, with a lot more conviction, by his grace. And during my suspension, I enjoyed my time. I went to Mammoth on a ski trip by myself, and I just skied the slopes. I listened to Charles Spurgeon lecture to my students on the chairlifts, and it was so awesome. It was so enjoyable. And yeah, while it was awesome and enjoyable, it was also, very weighty, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had my whole life at Pepperdine, right? And God opened such a miraculous door. After I get the news and the letter back that I'm suspended for a semester, an elder of my church, who I didn't even talk to about the situation yet, heard about it, and he calls up Masters University, and Masters answers, gets in contact with the volleyball coach. Volleyball coach hears about it, and I get a call from elder telling me what happened and how he's talking with them, and then I get a call from the volleyball coach right after, and he says, look, Jake, we heard what happened, and we want to offer you a spot on our team. The last day of ad drop is this Monday, and there's, I think, a Friday that I was talking to him, and so you need to decide basically by tomorrow, and we can get you in, and we'll offer you some money for a scholarship, and we'll get you all situated. And it's like, wow, seems like the Lord's really opening a door here without even me trying. Just he provides so well for his children. And just to encourage all of you to show that God is so good. I prayed about it, and it seems like that's where the Lord is leading. And so I called him back, and I was like, look, coach, on Saturday, I'm in. Let's do this thing. Show up on Monday. Me and the coach go from building to building, registration, housing, classes, CAF money, all this stuff. We go building to building. We get all registered, all settled in. And at Pepperdine, I had shared a room with, a good friend, but he was an atheist, right? And so we didn't connect very well on different levels, or I guess on the deepest level. And I really hope that one day the Lord saves him. But it was tough, right? Because I want to talk about spiritual things, and he doesn't want to talk about spiritual things. And I had like a prayer closet where I just go in and pray with the Lord. And the Lord knew that I wanted my own room where I could be with him by myself. And at Masters, the Lord gave me my own room. And no one at Masters, you can talk to all the students there, no one gets their own room. Everyone has to share. But the Lord was pleased to give me my own room. So I got my own room, and I got to seek him when I was at Masters and spent a lot of time with him. Yeah. There's more I could go into, but ultimately, God is so good. God is so faithful. And if you're a believer watching this, I hope you're encouraged to be more bold that you can just see my own weakness and see that I am a normal person. I am not special at all. If anything, I'm less than normal. And God used me. God strengthened me to preach his gospel. And if you're a believer, God will strengthen you to do it. Just gotta pray to him and ask him for boldness, ask him for convictions, strong clarity. We need people in our generation that are willing to be bold for the truth. That's what we need. I know for myself, and I know that most Christians will tell you that we get too comfortable. Too comfortable. But we need to stand for Christ. Just like Robert said, stand for Christ. And if you're an unbeliever watching this, give your heart to the Lord, please. I beg you. I beg you. There's nothing better in the entire world than serving him and knowing his peace, knowing his joy, knowing his power, deliverance from your sin, your slavery to sin, having your heart transformed and changed, becoming a new creature where you love what he loves and hates what he hates. You have a relationship with him. You don't need to go to a therapist. You don't need to go to a counselor because you have the wonderful counselor that you can talk to and pray to any time of the day. There's nothing better, man. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. May the flock be fed.